Is it working? I think it is. Okay. I'm Bonkerz. I'm Chris. My name's Chris. I'm gonna be doing these tutorial videos. Um, Basically, what we're gonna do here, the format is I'm gonna do the build I'm teaching. Against the AI. I'm gonna be talking while I'm doing it, talking about my thought process, what's going on, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then we're gonna look at a couple replays of me doing it on ladder, and looking at the results from that. Okay. Not all of my videos will be tutorials on builds. They might just be me self-analyzing a really good replay I have, or analyzing a pro replay. One more thing before we get started, I want to preface this with I am not a pro. I don't know if any of my builds are actually good past High Masters to GM. I'm right now High Masters on North American server. I've been close to GM a few times. That's all I can really claim. I'm not like amazing. I'm not like super terrible. I'm just here. I'm trying to help out you guys, so let's get into a game, I guess we could say. I'm going to pull up the AI. We're going to play a TvT. We're going to be learning the TvT 111 Eco Banshee build. It's a build that's easily macro. You can easily macro out of it, which is really, really nice, and it just allows you to play a relatively standard game following some pressure, and it doesn't put you too far behind, so you're able to just do a little bit of damage, go home, and then be fine. So, playing a game on Ohana here against the computer, because that's how I do things. So, into this game. Okay, so, just gonna split my SCVs, hotkey stuff. Common questions I get when I'm coaching people is just about hotkeys and certain things you should be doing. Hotkeys don't matter, if that makes sense. Like, it's whatever your preference is. I would recommend having 3 army hotkeys. For production though, like I personally do all 3 of my production on 1, but that doesn't matter. Like, that's preference. So we're gonna start. Sometimes I start a wall, sometimes I don't. I don't think I'm going to start a wall this game. And TvT is just kind of meh. It's good against Hellions. Like, if they're doing, like, some sort of Hellion play, a wall can help a lot. But, so I'm going to get 10 depot, just like standard. I'm going to get 11 gas here once I get another SCV. It's done. And again, I'm not saying I know how to, like, this build is perfect. I'm not saying this build should get you to GM. I'm not saying this build should be used at the pro level. But it works for me. I have a roughly probably 70 to 80% win rate in TvT. I enjoy it. This is a very, very solid build that you can easily adapt to almost anything. A few weak things I'd say it's weak against is some tank pushes are really, really hard to hold. But basically everything else is not too bad. So I like building my barracks somewhere on the edge of my base, so that Banshees can get out easily. Oh, by the way, I do not scout with this build. This is just a pretty blind build, which makes it bad versus proxy stuff, like a proxy marauder or something like that, or an 11-11. 11-11 though usually end up alright. You just have to stall until your Hellions get out. But not doing much right now, just building SCVs. I'm going to go up to 16 SCVs. Some questions you guys might have about me, since this is my first video, I'll be tossing these in as I'm doing this. We're not really talking about much now. I'm 18 years old, I'm a high school student. I live in Ohio, the US. I stream almost every day. My stream link is twitch.tv/bonkerz1. And I coach for $10 an hour. Just add me on Skype, BucksDude7. I'll have it in the description after this video is uploaded. Okay, so right after your 16th SCV finishes, you start your orbital command. Start your factory right away. Start 1 Marine. And then after the first Marine, you're getting a supply depot. So my supply depots are actually like to stop Hellion play or Reaper play from getting behind my base and getting out. So right after my first Marine, I built a tech lab. Be using my mules. So, don't like this depot. Just building SCVs right now. So okay, so this is actually very, very important. One, don't get supply block, just building depots. But this Hellion right here is my scout, alright? And what scouting with this Hellion will do is it will let me know if I need to keep building Hellions and Marines or not. Alright, because if he FE'd, then I don't want to keep building Hellions and Marines. If he already has an expansion down and he's mining from that, why do I need Hellions and Marines? I'm like not going to break through a bunker with Hellions and Marines. I'm not going to all in off this. This is just to get one Banshee out, harass, and then expand. Because if you keep building Hellions and Marines after you scout him, then and he's doing a 1-rax FE, you're just delaying your expo more, and you don't want to do that. So my first Hellion gets there, he did not expand, alright? Since he didn't expand, I have no idea what he's doing. I'm going to keep producing Hellions and Marines, alright? So in case he's doing like a Marine drop, or like a Marine Hellion drop, or a Reaper Hellion drop, something like that, we want to be prepared. So I'm just going to keep producing stuff. By now, he'll usually be moving out, and if he's not, then he's probably going to cloak Banshee or something. Like, you can usually tell from the poke a lot more than you can right now, because this is a very bad computer. But we're still just going to play as if I'm playing against someone good, so I'm just kind of poking around with Hellions. Okay, so he's got Marauders and Marines, which no one would ever have against you, because this is a computer. But we're going to play as if he's a normal person. So after my first Banshee, I'm going to go ahead and get my CC. Then I'm going to swap my racks onto my tech lab. Alright, so this Banshee, you do not want to lose. This Banshee is not something that needs to do tons of damage. Usually you only need 3 or 4 SCVs to catch up in the supply counts, or in the SCV counts. But the transition out of this is very, very smooth, very, very easy to understand. You build 2 more barracks, reactor, and reactor. So now I'm going up to 3 barracks, and I'm going to have reactors on all my barracks, while macroing and building stuff. So this Banshee's just going to poke, kill some SCVs. Oops, he's got a lot of Marauders. Okay, so one thing I'd like to note, is if he was tank all-inning me, if he's doing a tank-based play, your better bet would be to keep the factory and put it on this tech lab and start building tanks and Vikings and get siege right away. Because if you have more Vikings and you have siege tanks against a tank all-in, you win. But I basically play 100% standard out of this build. So now I'm in good shape. I have way more than 16 SCVs here, which is the...
Not enough energy. Research complete.
So I've got the combat shields done.
Not enough minerals. Not enough
I've got a
minerals.
sick concave. And now you just play standard. You just do this.
Not enough minerals.
Keep poking him with the Banshee. Doing whatever.
Add-on complete. Not enough.
And that is the build. Alright, that's the TvT build that I love to do. It's my go-to build. We're gonna look through that build, and I'm gonna write down the build order for you guys in a notepad. And yeah. If you guys have any questions, be sure to come visit me on my stream or ask me anything, or just actually in the comments down below. I should get them as well. But here is my actual analyzing screen. I hope you guys like it. If you don't, deal with it. Okay. Is that working? Okay. 1, 1, 1. Eco, Banshee, expand, and TvT. What is that thingy? Oh, and so we're just gonna slowly walk through the build. The first step is you get an 11 gas. Then you get a 13 racks following that. Actually, you get a 10 depot before it, but well, I'm not gonna put depots in here. I'm hoping you guys can figure it out. So after your 16th SCV, orbital command immediately, and then factory immediately. Oh my gosh, that's actually giving me a headache. Stop. Alright, and then after one Marine out of racks, Tech Lab on racks. So we're seeing this all go down, just constant Marines, Tech Lab on racks. So, yeah. I mean, nothing... I'm kind of confused. I'm like, do you guys like this format, like me going through the build right now? I feel like it's almost redundant. Like, I feel like it's not that hard. Maybe I should, like, have this document over here pre-made and then just do it? Or do you guys want me to make this document as I go like I am now? Leave that in the comments. I'm still trying to figure out the format for this. But, so constant production of Hellions and Marines. Oh, okay, I forgot actually to talk about a pivotal point of this build. So this Hellion, I don't see an Expo. What that means, every single time, unless I see it like right here, like when I like poke up a ramp, if I don't see an Expo, after this first Banshee, it has to be a Viking or a Raven. If I think he's going Cloak Banshee, then I'll get a Raven, but usually I'll get a Viking first. And the thought process behind that is if he's doing either like a Hellion Reaper drop, a Marine Hellion drop, or just even a Banshee, a Viking will help in all those situations. So you're going to want to constantly produce tanks, or I mean Marines, Hellions, and then a Viking, and then take your Expo as soon as possible. One thing I'd like to reiterate, I said during the game, if he's doing a tank all-in and you see tanks and you know tanks are coming, you swap this right after this Banshee, you swap the factory onto the Tech Lab, and you start getting tanks and siege right away. Do not do the bio transition. If you do the bio transition, it is likely you will die, because it's very, very hard to have your reactors up and pumping units early enough to stop that tank all in. Okay, so let's keep going here. Let's just focus on the bio transition, then we'll get out of this replay and we'll look at some actual games that I do this on ladder with. So we got a CC. Okay, so my bench got 4 kills. I'm that many workers ahead because he's a computer, and we're doing the transition. And that's basically the build. We'll just get out of this now. I feel like this is a waste of time. But you guys see how I'm kind of setting things up? I'm going just straight into bio, like with medvacs. Nothing crazy here. This video is primarily to cover the opening and nothing else. So that's yep. Oh, by the way, if someone comes to my house and yells at me, just deal with it. It's gonna happen because I live with my parents because I'm in high school. So let's just actually put that build inside of this folder. Paste. Okay. So let's go into the first game I have here, which is actually going to be versus, I believe, an old friend of mine who I played on ladder not too long ago. What I'll do is okay, so we're still analyzing. We'll just keep going on this screen. Bonkerz versus Street. This is what we're looking at. It's a TvT on Cloud Kingdom. So we're gonna fast forward a bit. There's no need to watch every flipping second in this game. Seem to get an 11 gas. Then the barracks kind of again like proxied off to the side. We want the Banshee flight path to not be super long. And then, you know, an orbital command right after 16 SCVs and this barracks finishes. One Marine. A depot. I do wall off this game, I suppose. Or it looks that way as anywho. By the way, if my camera skills are terrible, I'm like bad at this. I know, I understand, I'm new. Okay, so it looks like he's getting a Reaper, and he's getting another barracks following that. Just doing a Reaper expand. If he gets a Reaper, you gotta keep the Hellion back to help stop the Marine, or to help save the Marine. I do keep my SCV building my starport alive, and because of that Reaper, you can tell that I'm continuing to build Hellions. One thing about a Reaper build on a 4-player map is you can't really scout him in time. Like, scouting him in time sometimes is very, very difficult on a 4-player map with him opening Reapers, because that means that I have to keep my first Hellion back. I have to play defensive with it, unless I pick his Reaper off right away. But anywho, let's just continue. I'm finishing my depot. My depot is a little bit mistimed, you can tell, because it's not done when my Banshee is. My Banshee gets delayed for a second or two. But the constant Hellion Marine production. Have I scouted his Expo? I have not. And I'm not producing Hellion Marine, so I'm playing a little bit risky this game. You can see me doing the bio transition. I'm pushing out my Hellions and my Banshee, so I see the bunker. I know he's expanded, and here comes my Banshee. And I do have my CC almost finished. And if we look at the worker count, I did not build my 2 barracks yet. My macros kind of failed, but now I'm going to the 2 reactor, 2 barracks thing. I killed 4 SCVs, and I'm up 3 SCVs, and my CC is done. So I basically kind of equated it out. It's around the same. I might be a little bit ahead or a little bit behind, but there is no significant lead in this game right now. I end up going to 3 OC just because my macro failed. This is not a planned thing. That's just macro failing. There's something I can obviously improve on, and we can see that I'm at even workers with him, which means that 4 kills basically makes you even. It's really easy to get more than 4 kills. Army supply, he's a little bit ahead, and he's going to kill a ton of workers right now. I believe. He's got stim. I needed this bunker earlier. Oh, that's bad. But one good thing for me, I am on 3OC. His 3OC is on the way. But I think I'm going to be able to catch up here before that happens. But I'm just playing standard. Like, I think we can kind of lead this game. Although we're not going to, because this actually ends in a sick way. So that was very good for me. Alright, he overextended up that ramp. It's still a relatively even game. He's 3 workers up. But I have 3 meals. And I've had 3 meals for a very long time. So it's a pretty even game. If we look at supply counts, I'm actually ahead. And he has more workers, so my army is actually bigger. And look at what happens here. He goes for a base race. Dun-da-da. Part of the reason I lost this was this hesitation here. I decided to stop right here. So he was able to get in better position. But what happens here, basically, is I take all these tank shots, and I'm way ahead in army supply at the beginning of this. But by the end of this, I'm not, just because of those tanks. And I lose because of it. His Marines are 1-1, mine are 1-1. And I had a significantly bigger army. But ends in a pretty cool way. But I do think at the end of that, I was ahead. Like, I think I was ahead when the base race happened. We can look just for the sake of knowledge. One thing to learn here is always keep a dude at the tower. If I had a dude at the tower, I'd literally turn around and stomp this army because his army is split. But if we look at the army counts, I'm actually ahead in army. And I think my army is more expensive. So I have 1 more medvac and 4 more marines. So what happened, he was just very cost efficient with that tank. And he only has 1 tank with his army, I have 2. He loses a battle if we fight. And I have better production. So I'm actually about to just outproduce him. If he waits any longer, he loses it even worse, I believe. So we can go into the next game. I'd like to remind you all that all these replays will be in the description of the video. So the street game we watched, let's watch this game versus Forbes. I'm going to try not to spend as much time on each individual video as I did on that one, just because we're really just focusing on the opening here. I don't want to make these videos too lengthy. I understand you guys don't want to watch them that are super long. So we're seeing a TvT on Antigua Shipyard. Again, the weird barracks placement to try to proxy the starport to an extent. He scouts me, I don't scout him. He does a proxy factory, which means his factory is a little bit later, which we'll see how that affects him later on. But we're seeing gas versus gas opening here. I'm building Hellions. I haven't scouted him yet. I scout the wrong way, which is never good. Alright, we're not just going to learn about how I play, but we're going to learn about what's bad. Alright, and this right here is bad. Do you know why? So he has not... Did he scout? He scouted me going factory, alright? And he's pumping 1 marine at a time. And his factory is later. And he's moving out with the only 4 marines he has. This is all he's got. And his production isn't exactly hopping right now. Now, do you know what's even worse than bad? This. He saw my Hellion. He knew I had Hellions out. So he's going to try to break up my ramp with 3 marines, knowing I have a Hellion out. So this is stupid. You're throwing away your army when he's depending on this army. That's like a 1-armed dude cutting his own arm off. Don't ever do that. So he tries bursting up my ramp. He loses 1 marine, so it's 150 to 0 lost. My Banshee gets in his base. He's got nothing. Do you know why? Because he threw away all of his marines. And he's got a bunker. Now this is very bad. You guys are just going to watch me lose this Banshee. Sick. But I lost that because he has a Banshee in my base. But 7 workers killed to 3. I'm pretty far ahead. We should see the... Oop! The Viking. I brought the Viking out. Remember that. If he's not fast expanding, you bring a Viking out. But you want to see me do the transition here? The bio transition, the double reactor play. So yeah, that's kind of what happens here. I mean, he keeps doing this stuff with Banshees. This proxy starport's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But he's going into a mech transition, and if you know anything, right now, I'm up in workers, I have a faster mining expansion, and I've got more production right now. So, he's about to just get outproduced. Been really annoying with that Banshee. He pushes in with Hellions and tries doing some stuff. And he actually gets quite a few SCVs, I suppose. He gets ahead in the SCV count. But if you look at the army count, he's just pathetically behind, and he can't really compete with what I got here. Oh, another thing to note, if you're going mech, don't ever proxy your starport, or I wouldn't, unless you, like, are planning, like, unless you're all-inning, don't do this, because, like, as mech, you need that starport to produce Vikings, otherwise I'm just gonna do this. So if you have no Vikings, what's to stop me from just absolutely wrecking this? And once I kill your tanks, you lose, because, like, those tanks are all you can, like, once you lose your tanks early on, you basically lose, because I can just keep macroing and expanding and killing. But, so that's opening versus that game. Now we got one more game to look at. That was a Banshee vs Banshee game. This is versus Sabagot on Shakur's Plateau. And again, just let me know what I can improve on, what I can fix about this whole show I'm doing here. Let me know just little things I can maybe do to make this more informative and better for you guys that are learning. So there's my 11 gas. We are cross spawn here on Shakur's Plateau. Do my proxy barracks type stuff on the side of the map. Getting one marine and then a tech lab, just like always. So, ooh, it might be better for me to do it first person like this. I kind of like this. I don't have to control the camera like at all. So I build one Hellion. I usually build a second, but I'm going to build my second after the Banshee. Alright? So I'm going to scout him with this Hellion. So I scout and see no expo. So right now we're thinking, okay. Well, actually I don't know that's where he is yet, so we're not thinking anything yet. I don't know why I sent my Hellion back. Oh, I already scouted up there. Okay, I already scouted up there. So we're thinking, okay, I have to get a Viking. I have to be able to defend myself from whatever he's got. And we're looking, we can see that he's getting a Banshee. So what's going to happen here is I should get a Viking right away after my Banshee pops. So my Banshee has popped. I put my barracks on that, and I get a Viking right away. This is flipping, like, psychic stuff, yo. Like, I'm telling you. This Viking saves you. Alright, this Viking absolutely 100% saves you. So it looks like he is actually going Cloak Banshee. Sometimes I do like to get a Raven if I know he's going Cloak, but that's just kind of meh. That just depends. So I'm doing my harass, killing some SCVs. I've got my Expo down faster than him, and I'm 4 SCVs up. 6 SCVs up. 7 SCVs up. 8 SCVs up. And now he's got his Cloak Banshee in my base. I've got 5 Marines and a Viking to deal with this. He missed micros and he loses his Banshee instantly. And we're seeing just the power of my build. The build that you can just actually macro out of it. If he has a Viking out, if you're already too late to run away, then you stay there and keep killing stuff. But if you're on the outskirts of his base, you want to try to get out if you can and just keep the Banshee alive. Because if he has a Viking out that early, that means that he didn't do a fast expand, so you're not really far behind. So I do produce another Viking, I believe, because he did go Cloak Banshee, which means he did invest a certain amount into that, and he's not going to want to just stop building them. We do see he's going double expand here. With these Hellions, I'm able just to keep tabs on him and try to delay his expansions more. 7 workers ahead right now. Just looking really, really solid. Getting into my Marine production. I still don't really see what's going on with him, but I'm doing this little poke to try to delay his expansion. I can kind of tell he's going mech right now, just because of how fast his tanks are. He's either going mech or some tank-based bio, like some really fast tanks. But I end up killing more and more SCVs. Go up to 3 barracks. Once I scout mech with a scan, I suppose, and then I get a quicker third. This was, I think I do like this expand better than this one because it's a little bit, I don't know, I'm not sure. In these spawns, if he spawned here, I for sure would like this expand better as my third. But in these spawns, this expand is kind of, no, I probably should have gotten this expand. I think. But anyways, I'm just staying active on the map, doing some drops. While taking my third, while going up to 7 barracks, while getting upgrades, I end up canceling Blue Flame. Spread my army out. If we just look right now, it's 33 SCVs to 55. One thing I really do need to do though is start getting my macro up. I don't have that big of an army, and we're gonna see what happens here when you don't have that big of an army. I do force a siege right there. I end up having to lift my third off because of not having an army and just the position I'm in here. I spread my army out pretty well there. That was a good trade for me. And now he's out of position to defend his third, which is really all I need, because right now he's got 4 tanks in the middle of the map, and you can't really just have 4 tanks in the middle of the map, and now you see what happens when you just leave 4 tanks in the middle of the map. After this, there's actually just no way to come back from this, and I think this game ends now. I think he BMs me too. Oh no, he doesn't. Okay, so yeah, it's the build. I want to actually just add something to this. I'm going to add a segment known as strengths to the build to pressure while taking a fast expand and transitioning smoothly into bio. Taking a safe. Alright, that is all I have for this first show. Thank you all so much for watching. Please check me out on twitch.tv/bonkerz1 is there on the screen there. You'll see it. And please check out my team, OGaming.net, if you like coaching. I have it added into the document as well. Thank you for watching. Please let me know anything that I can make this do to make this better. Expect more analysis, tutorials, learning, anything I can help you with in the future. And be sure to check me out on my stream. I answer all questions on my stream. So thanks for watching, guys.